Una figura emblemática del cine documental norteamericano está presente en la 20ª edición de DOCSMX para, entre otras cosas, compartir una charla y también hablarnos de su trabajo. Thank you very much, Joe, for this interview. So you're here. Tell us about the activities you're going to develop here.
I think we're going to show several of my films, Metallica, Some Kind of Monster, and Crude, which is a very important film to me about pollution, oil pollution in the Amazon in Ecuador. And Showing Brothers Keeper, my very first film that we made using 12 credit cards and a second mortgage on our home. And luckily, somehow it all magically worked out and got invited to Sundance and started our career. I used to make documentaries for a very small amount of people, crime documentaries, and now on Netflix, 40, 50 million people see my work, which is amazing.
In that sense, let's talk about Cold-Blooded, which has, I believe your work is to some extent at the crossroads between journalism and literature. That's Capote's In Cold Blood, also your reference.
Yeah.
How do you find this relationship with documentary journalistic work and, the depiction of a society?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. A lot of people think documentaries are the literal truth of a situation. I believe documentaries are very subjective, and documentaries are, there's three impulses as to why people become documentary filmmakers. The first impulse is journalism. You want to report on something. The second impulse is advocacy. You want to advocate for your subject, like somebody's wrongfully convicted or there's pollution in a river and you want to help. That's advocacy. And then there's storytelling.
Would you say there's an ethical perspective, a conscious ethical perspective from your work?
Well, look, especially in crime filmmaking is very polarizing because some people think it's not nice for the victims to be re-traumatized, and that is true. You have to be very careful about the victim's story. So when I make a film, I reach out to all the victims, a crime film, and make sure the victims are okay with me telling the story. Some people think that you should not give a platform to a serial killer. For example, when I made Conversations with a Killer about Ted Bundy, the Ted Bundy tapes, and I also made a feature film about Ted Bundy with Zac Efron. And the reason I decided to make those films, one of the reasons is we were sitting around the table. I have two daughters who were in college at the time I was making the decision to do those films. And I said to my daughters, I'm thinking about making a film about Ted Bundy. And they said, "Who's Ted Bundy?" And I said, "You don't know who Ted Bundy is."
Joe, thank you very much for the interview. Joe Berlinger, documentalista norteamericano presente en la 20ª edición de DOCSMX.